Hi, I'm Norman A. Hood, financial advisor and host of the Exit Plan Show. I interview America's top advisors, like today's guest, Erin Botsford of Botsford Financial, to help business owners enjoy more personal freedom, grow their companies faster, and transition ownership seamlessly when the time comes. Welcome to the show, Ed.
Thank you, Norman.
Nice to meet you.
Pleased to be here.
Yeah, enjoyed talking to you before we got started here. I'm going to have you just introduce yourself to our audience. Tell us a bit about your education, your background, and your career path.
Okay, that's easy. Well, I've been in this business. I've been a financial planner for 26 years. Started off as a stockbroker, and then I went independent in 1995 when I figured out that probably the world that I was in was not as interested in taking care of the clients as they were in feeding the mothership. So I've been independent for a long time. My personal background, it's really driven a lot of what I do. My father died when I was 11, and he left my mom with 6 kids and $10,000. So we went from middle class to poverty. So I get how important life insurance is, perhaps. My story got really interesting when I was 16. I was in a terrible car accident. I hit a guy on a motorcycle and he was killed. I went through a criminal trial and I went through a civil trial. The family of the young man sued my mother and me for a ridiculous amount of money. And I really learned the importance of asset protection. So, fast forward 45, 50 years later, my firm specializes in asset protection. We try and protect people from 2 things: market meltdowns and lawsuits. So in a nutshell, I come by my profession honestly.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's a tragic background, but you used it to do a lot of good things. So, you and I just met. How do you think people that know you real well, how do you think they would describe you?
Most people would say that I'm very loyal, and I value loyalty probably more than anything in the world. I'm very determined, and of course, I'm very resilient.
Right.
I had to learn that at an early age, so yeah.
Okay. As far as Botsford Financial, can you explain to our audience all the different services you offer?
Well, we do comprehensive financial planning, and when people say, well, what's different about what you do than anybody else does, I think a lot of people that call themselves financial planners are really they operate as one of 2 things. They sell a product, and a lot of times they gather assets, and then they send them off to money managers because that's the profit center. In our case, we really do holistic planning where we want to know about people's mom, their dad, their brothers, their sisters, their nieces, their nephews. We want to find out what's important to them, and then we create a plan and a structure around that. As you work with business owners, that's what we do too. And sometimes they're coming to us with their life's work. Right. And again, our focus is not so much money management and we manage a lot of money, but we're really focused on protecting what they've built and what they've created. So again, protecting them from financial markets and market meltdowns, and everybody knows what those look like, but also, more importantly, protecting them from lawsuits. And we do a lot of legal work, and we work with a lot of attorneys to build structures, because what most business owners don't know, they seem to know a lot about their widget, their business, that they build, but they don't know that they're very large targets. And most of them don't know that they're also one car accident away from losing everything they've worked for. And so, like I said, I come by that naturally, and I'm very in tune to those possibilities. So that's what my firm does. Very
unique focus, actually. Yeah. I don't run into that often.
That's what we're hoping.
Okay, good. As far as Botsford Financial, is there any one thing you like to do more than anything else there?
Well, I like to point out the things that my competitors or their other advisors are not doing. Okay. And I think what we did was I started off as a stockbroker, and as I said, I think money management to some degree is sort of a dime a dozen, But I built the business trying to figure out what are people not taking care of. What are the vulnerabilities in an overall plan that the typical CPA, attorney, and certainly their money manager, their stockbroker, or their banker is not paying attention to. So I built the entire process that we go through is determined to find where the vulnerabilities are.
Okay. Next question, I think you've already answered it. I always try to find out what motivates someone to do what they do, and I think your background probably is a lot of that. You want to spare people from what you went through.
Yeah, back then, my mother being destitute, we had no money. So when we were sued, I do remember, my mother said to me one time, well, because of you, we may have to pitch a tent on the high school football field. She was scared to death of losing the only asset that she had. Those kind of statements just, they never go away.
Right.
And so I always feel like whoever works with me, I want to make sure that doesn't happen to them. I can't prevent bad things from happening to people, nor can you.
Right.
But what I can do is try and create some legal structures around people's assets so that their life's work doesn't get taken away from them as a result of something that we all call an accident, but other people are trying to put blame on the person.
Right. Okay. Last question. We work with business owners. They watch our show for a number of reasons. Some of the most common ones are they sometimes are looking for a way to enjoy a little more personal freedom, not spend so much time at work. Sometimes they're looking for ways to grow their company faster. Sometimes they're looking for ways to accomplish a transition, either the next generation or third party or to a key employee group. And a more recent one is we run into business owners who are telling us they're having a hard time redefining their purpose after they leave their company. So based on all your experience working with business owners, if you could give them one tip in any of those 4 areas, what do you think it would be?
I would say get prepared 2 to 3 years before you plan to sell your business. I always call it the retirement red zone. And so there's the 2 or 3 years before they cash out, and the 2 or 3 years after, in my mind, are incredibly important. But you don't want to only just prepare on the money side. The bigger issue is, what are you going to do with your time?
Right.
And I think that I went through a course, I don't know if you've ever heard of Halftime. It's here in Dallas. And they talk about setting up parallel careers, where as you're sort of, slowing down from your business and allowing other people to take over, or spending that 3-year earn-out period or whatever, start doing other things and figuring out what you're going to do with your time. Because that's always the problem area. It's never about the money. It's about finding fulfillment after they exit. And one of my favorite sayings from my business coach is, always make your future bigger than your past. And I think if people focus on the area of contribution, how can they take their skill sets and contribute to the betterment of other people, they can find that fulfillment, long after they sell their practice or their business. So.
Okay, great interview. Outstanding interview with Erin Botsford of Botsford Financial. For more information about Erin and her firm, please check out the show notes for this episode on our website.